You ever get that feeling like the ground just quietly shifted underneath you, and no one around you seems to notice? That's exactly where we are with AI right now. While most people are still using ChatGPT to rewrite emails or plan meals, under the radar, Google DeepMind just solved a core flaw in AI's logic. China pushed the boundaries of machine reasoning. Meta quietly assembled the Avengers of AI. Microsoft dropped a medical system that diagnoses better than human doctors. And Xiaomi turned your eyewear into an intelligent assistant that sees, hears, and thinks with you in real time. Let's start with Google DeepMind, because what they just fixed might redefine how we interact with AI in the next decade. So here's the issue. Most AI models right now, including the ones we use every day, are trained to say things that sound good to humans, not necessarily things that are true. Ever asked an AI a question and got a beautifully written answer? Long, polite, formatted, like a college essay. But completely wrong? That's not just an occasional glitch. It's baked into how these models work. They're rewarded for giving us responses we like, not responses that are correct. And that's a huge problem. Because if AI is going to help us make real-life decisions in medicine, in business, in education, in law, it can't just look smart. It needs to be smart. DeepMind saw this flaw and decided to go deeper. They teamed up with researchers at McGill University and the University of Montreal to build a new reward system called CROME, short for Causally Robust Reward Modeling. Now, instead of rewarding AI for flashy language or length, CROME teaches AI to focus on what really matters: logic, evidence, factual accuracy. They didn't just throw more data at the problem, they built a new way of thinking. CROME was trained like a human editor, not just judging answers on presentation, but on meaning. It learned to compare responses side by side and understand which one is actually better. Not longer, not smoother, not more polite, but more truthful and useful. Here's what's wild. When they ran tests using CROME, the results were significant. AI systems became 13% safer and 7% more accurate in reasoning tasks, even when given tricky prompts designed to fool them with emotional or elegant language. That may not sound huge, but imagine you're getting financial advice or trying to diagnose a health issue. That 13%? It could mean the difference between getting something that sounds reassuring versus something that actually protects you. Why should that matter to you? Because AI isn't going to stay in standalone apps like ChatGPT forever. It's already getting baked into your email client, your search engine, your spreadsheet, your car, your hospital. And the sooner these systems learn to value truth over polish, the safer we all are. And the more we can actually trust the tech we're using. Meanwhile, in China, AI that actually reasons. But that's just one piece of the story. Over in China, researchers at Shanghai Xiang University weren't trying to make AI more polite. They were trying to make it smarter, to give it raw reasoning power. Specifically, they wanted AI to be able to solve complex problems like a human, especially when it comes to logic and math. Not just spit out information, but actually think it through. Here's the twist. When they tried to improve models like Meta's Llama using reinforcement learning, it backfired. The models got longer, like ridiculously long answers, but not better. Some responses ballooned up to 4,000 tokens, full of redundant steps and unnecessary details, but they still missed the correct solution. Sound familiar? So instead of just tweaking the output, they went back to the foundation. They created a new training method called Stable Then Decay, where they first trained the base model on 200 billion tokens of clean, high-quality math data. Then, They split it into 3 versions: a long one that included every step in detail, a short one that cut to the essentials, and a hybrid version that struck a balance between clarity and depth. They called this new family of models OctoThinker, and when they tested it on challenging math and logic benchmarks, GSM-8K, Math 500, Olympia Bench, and even the 2023 American Math Competition, it didn't just perform well. It outperformed every Llama baseline and the long version. It matched the performance of Quen, one of the top reasoning-focused models in the world. But here's what's even more exciting. OctoThinker didn't just spit out the right answer. It explained its reasoning, clearly, concisely, like a teacher walking you through the steps, not a black box. And that's a massive leap forward, because whether you're analyzing sales trends, troubleshooting code, or building financial models, you don't want a magic AI. You want an AI that explains itself, that shows its work, that helps you think instead of doing your thinking for you. That's where OctoThinker is headed, and it's a glimpse into the kind of tools we'll all be using soon. Of course, these breakthroughs aren't going unnoticed, especially not by Meta. Zuckerberg recently announced Meta Superintelligence Labs, and it might be their boldest AI play yet. They're not just building models, they're building an empire. Here's what went down. They hired Alexander Wang from Scale AI, Nat Friedman from GitHub, and brought in 11 top researchers from OpenAI, DeepMind, Anthropic, and more. Rumors say they offered 8-figure deals to bring these people in. They even considered buying Mira Murati's thinking machines, the search engine startup Perplexity, and Ilya Sutskever's safe superintelligence project. The talks didn't finalize, but it tells you just how aggressive Meta is right now. And what's the goal? Not to catch up to OpenAI or Google. Zuckerberg made it clear in his internal memo. They want to leapfrog the state of the art. Why does that matter? Because we're no longer talking about whether companies will use AI. We're talking about whether your job will involve tools built by this team or someone else's. And depending on how these systems are built, the way you work, how you search, write, design, analyze, will be shaped by who wins this arms race. This is the new infrastructure, and the fact that Meta is doubling down should be a wake-up call to anyone who thinks AI is still in beta. While Meta is playing chess with AI talent, Microsoft made a quieter, but equally profound move. They just unveiled a medical AI system called MAI DXO, and it might be one of the most impactful real-world applications of AI yet. Here's how it works. MAI DXO is like a virtual panel of expert doctors. It pulls responses from multiple foundation models, GPT-4, Claude, Gemini, Llama, Grok, and gets them to debate each case, weigh the options, and then collaborate on a final diagnosis. Then it presents a clear diagnostic pathway, including which tests to order, how to interpret results, and how to move step by step toward a diagnosis. In tests using 304 real case studies from the New England Journal of Medicine, MAI DXO reached 80% diagnostic accuracy. That's 4 times better than a panel of human doctors who were not allowed to use reference material. And here's what really shocked the researchers. MAI DXO didn't just diagnose better, it did it cheaper, consistently choosing less expensive but more effective tests. This could change everything, from how we approach clinical trials to how we triage patients in overwhelmed hospitals. It's not about replacing doctors. It's about giving them a smarter second brain. And for you, it means that in the not-so-distant future, When you feel sick or get a confusing lab result, you might not have to wait weeks for clarity. You might get an answer in minutes, and it might be more accurate than anything your doctor has ever had access to. If all of that feels too abstract, let's bring it back to something you can literally wear on your face. At a showcase in Beijing, Xiaomi just unveiled AI-powered smart glasses. And they make Meta's Ray-Bans look like a demo project. These aren't just wearables, they're full-blown augmented intelligence. They come with real-time translation, object recognition, first-person video and photography, and even pay by glance, where you confirm purchases just by looking at something and saying a command. The glasses run on a Qualcomm AR1 chip paired with a custom coprocessor, and they pack over 8 hours of battery, twice the endurance of Meta's Ray-Ban collab. The glasses run on a Qualcomm AR1 chip paired with a custom coprocessor, and they pack over 8 hours of battery, twice the endurance of Meta's Ray-Ban collab. Why does this matter? Because just a few years ago, talking to your phone felt weird. Letting your watch track your heartbeat felt futuristic. Now we're literally wearing AI that sees the world with us, hears us, and responds in real time. This isn't just about convenience. It's about how we interact with information, with services, and even with money. The interface is changing. And if history tells us anything, it's this. When the interface changes, everything else follows. So here's the real takeaway. This wasn't just a big week for AI news. It was a turning point. Google fixed how AI judges truth. China taught AI to reason clearly. Meta launched an elite AI division with billion-dollar ambition. Microsoft created a medical system that could save lives and lower costs. And Xiaomi blurred the line between wearables and intelligent companions. This isn't about what's possible someday. This is about what's becoming normal, right now. And if you're sitting on the sidelines, waiting for a perfect time to learn this stuff, to understand it, to engage with it, you're going to miss the window. Because AI isn't a tool anymore. It's a layer on top of everything. Work, health, communication, decision-making, creativity. So the question isn't, will AI change things? It's, will you be ready when it does? If this video helped you make sense of where things are heading, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your thoughts or questions. I read all of them. And subscribe for more deep dives every week into the biggest AI stories shaping your future. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.